What's going on? What's going on? This is Greg. Greg said it. Inside edition here. And man, when I told you all, you don't have to rush anything. It's gonna come, and sadly, it's gonna go. Last year was like at some point we was glad it was over. So hurry up and reset this thing. But this year we gotta savor the moment. You don't have to rush. I can't wait to August 27, this, that, 8, whatever. You gotta be 27. Anyway, the season is here. Practice has started. It's not no longer the fall about to start. They're gonna be back. Y'all, they started yesterday. The boys are back in town. Probably a couple days away. They just got Shell and Hellman, and a couple days away from seeing some pads. But we already seeing that action. We getting to see some 11-on-11-ish activity with no pads on, which is different, to be honest with you. A little 7-on-7. But we're going to get to see who are emerging. And let me tell you, a lot of people were like, who's going to be that guy, receiver? Everybody went to Wester. Some people mentioned Will Shepard. Shepard is emerging as that big body. He looking like a big version of Zay from last year. And what that means is that receiving core is coming together like we thought. We know what Wester can do. I mean, because Wester was there in the spring. We don't see all of them tape. And, you know, people say silly stuff like you can't play on paper. Well, you playing paper football? When has anybody ever played on paper? Football either played on the field or is recorded on the field. Where that paper stuff come from? It's silly. It must be somebody who ain't never played football before, because I ain't never said that. I don't know too many people who say that, play on paper, not football at least. You don't play football on paper. You either on the film or you're on the field. But either way, it's always on the field. Now maybe y'all little static people, you know, reading the stats and say, that's paper to you. But I don't really know no real football people who analyze football from paper. A real football person, if anything, gonna analyze it. If he can't be there on the field or there directly, he's gonna watch film. So, if anything, if you want to be a smart aleck, you'll say, hey, football can't be played on film, which would be a lie. Because film reveals a lot of things about football. Even the football players gotta watch film. But anywho, Colorado is out there, and we getting to see. One thing that stood out to me, we've been talking about it for the last couple weeks. I've done videos about it, about those trenches. And it's very competitive. But it's one group of people that I told y'all about that's going to make this season. Everybody offense, that defensive line. You're seeing those defensive linemen really, really reveal themselves as the run stuffers. I told y'all they were. Run stuffers. I told y'all the last thing you want to do is run the ball. You don't want to run the ball on this because they're going to stuff it. And we're saying that even though they're not equipment, we have guys who I told you they can stuff the run. Our tackles stuff the run. You also see Matt Neal out there making play. I told y'all Matt Neal going to be the guy to watch. Everybody's talking about BJ Green, Okinola, and we got a whole slew of guys. But I told y'all, watch that 88 Matt Neal. And I'm going to keep telling y'all, Matt Neal is going to be that guy they're going to have to do something about. And they probably going to take about 5-6 games to realize who he really is. Because they still busy worried about, they put him right over there by BJ Green. Because they're going to be worried about BJ Green, and rightfully so. But the problem is, you don't know how elite. Matt Neal going to be that guy next year. They're going to know who he is because of this year. They're going to say, darn. It was a losing team, so he didn't really get the credit. But he was really disruptive last year. And he's going to be bigger and faster, stronger, more experienced this year. He's going to be highly disruptive. He's going to be one of our top, if not top, pass rushers and tackles. He's very disruptive. He gets a lot of penetration. But a lot of our linemen do. I know Buell does. I know Tafik does. So, man, we're looking at it exceptional. So, when y'all, don't get it twisted. When y'all watch these videos and you see the offense kind of like maybe frustrated, you hear certain comments and you say, the coach say, hey, good competition defensive line or whatever, and you may think, darn, the offensive line is struggling. Or you may say, oh, here we go. Just know who you talking about. This defensive line is going to give everybody a hard time, especially in the Big 12. It's going to be problematic for the Big 12 to block these boys. The depth and the talent level and just so much talent on that D-line, it's just not normal. But see, y'all think y'all talking about Colorado, but this D-line here has so many good pieces, man. They just keep them rotating healthy, man. They're going to be highly disruptive. And it's good that our offensive line gets to go against that caliber line because it further helps them because they're not going to see too many lines like this, especially in the Big 12, where you can see first team, second team, third team come in, and it's just animals. And it's animals across the line. And I can just focus on this one or two guys. Like, they across the line, if you pay too much attention to one, the other one going to eat you up. Ham sandwich. That's what people fail to get. But that's what you're seeing. Just in case your eyes may be deceiving you or maybe you deceiving yourself. You're looking at a very stingy, high energy, disruptive defense, specifically the defensive line. And if that ain't enough, you see our secondary got a little ball hawk in them. I told you about the little ball hawks. We see even Herman Smith coming. He got that JSU ball hawk in him. We see Trevor Woods got a couple picks. And you got to think about it. You know, you can say you can write it off or, well, this, that, and that. Our quarterbacks ain't shabby, just in case you forgot. Staub is not even that shabby. You know, it's Staub. Or you get one on Shador, you know you got one. And this is a whole practice, y'all. This just little snippets. Don't think you got it figured out. Because, you know, there's some plays you didn't see as well on both sides. But from what we see, it's lining up with what I told you. That trench play, particularly that defensive line, high energy, falling there, high energy, highly effective leaders. You ain't going to get no better line coach than Damian Lewis and Warren Sapp. Those are two of the most elite D linemen you know, in this generation, you know, from a standpoint. Damian Lewis did a very, very solid job at Miami. He had a decent run in the pros. You know, it's hard to compare him to Hall of Famer, but I mean, he was a dominant D lineman, man. He was a dominant D lineman. He played on some good teams. He did some good stuff. And when you put him together, they got the same identities, mindset, coming from the same program. They pretty much went the same spot in the draft. They got NFL experience, but they like-minded, man. There's nothing like being like-minded. You know, their training is identical. Their mindset is identical because they come from a similar foundation. And when you got two guys on the same page that could double verify, that could confirm what the other one is saying, that's gonna be a rapid. It just makes sense why this defensive line is gonna be just hard to deal with. You got the talent and you got the coaching, and that's just rare. Be real with you. They could have had this talent last year. The coach was decent, but it's like the relatability factor and just two of those guys, you know. And they say Danzy, you know, Coach Danzy kind of fit in with them. You know, they all on the same page. And if you're on the same page, there's nothing can stop you. A lot of times we deal with people and people feel like they're trying to outdo each other or they don't respect each other, but that's not the case. These brothers, they know each other. They come from the same background. They respect each other. And you know Danzy, he definitely respects. He's like, wow, this is a situation I'm in. I come from down there in Mississippi Valley to this, not just this, but this. I get to coach alongside of Damian Lewis and Warren Sapp. They all gonna look good together. They all gonna benefit. That defensive line is gonna wreak so much havoc. You're gonna see a lot of interceptions. You see them interceptions? That come from pressure. And that pressure is coming with a good line. It just, you show me how many lines can be able to block the type of guys we got all at one time without one of them cutting loose. You show me a line that's going to block B.J. Green, Matt Neal, and Shadoze all on the same line. And then you got Okanola over there on the other side. Y'all got to double team at least a couple of them. If you get into them one-on-one, it's a nightmare for you and a snap for them. If you get B.J. Green one-on-one during the game, you can forget about have anything going on over there, especially you're gonna be passing. If you leave McNeil, if you leave him just one-on-one, he gonna get a few sacks that game at minimum, and he gonna mess up your run game. And if you put two guys barely can block Shadoze coming up the middle, he just gonna blow it all up. He just gonna blow up. Anything you planning on doing is blown up. And everybody know what Canola can do. It's a it's expectation for him. A young guy who did his thing last year. So we got two guys coming off the edge and some guys coming up the middle, and that's just like, we can consider that first group, arguably. Then you got Hayes in the next group. You got Barnes in the next group. You got Buell or Wiggins or Carter. You know, you got so many guys. You got McCoy can come out the edge over there. You got Arden Walker. We throw these names out. You remember these names. They can come off these edge. We got some guys come off the edge, get out that quarterback. And I can't say it no more, but I'm going to say it again. But I don't know what else I can tell you. Colorado is not going to be nothing to play with. And the way Will Shepherd coming around on the offensive side, with that big body, going up and get these one-on-ones, you don't want to one-on-one him. You're going to have to double team him. And you just killed your defense. If you got to double team him because he catching over, you know what he looked like to me? I'm going to tell y'all. Will Shepherd is looking like a mature version of what we want Amarion Miller to be. That big body, going down the sideline, one-on-one, you don't want it. We seen that with USC last year. If you got that big guy on there and you put Amarion on the other side, another big receiver doing this thing, man, it's a matchup nightmare. Because you want somebody over top to help. Because they're going over top. And if you worry about him over top, you sure ain't worried about Western underneath. That's just, it's a wicked combination. It's just not good. If you're looking at trying to stop these boys, pass game, your only hope is that the line gonna let you get the Shador. And they got the depth and they got the attitude where you just ain't gonna be able to bank on that. It's all coming together, y'all. I'm just Greg. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and we definitely be talking real soon.